Did you come here to help?
No.
So there's record this, Jody, so you can see how like it's being nicked with a lawnmower or something there. And so I'm hitting.
It looks like a big one.
See, the ground's being way over here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
Like it's in there sideways?
There's probably the base. So the lawnmower people probably hate me because I'm making more work for them. Ugh. I dress up for this. So I try to get the sod out in like one big piece so that it's. Oh. Ugh. So you can see the. So the only part that I'm showing is just that. You wouldn't even think there's I don't.
Yeah, it's a tall one.
So there's probably a base in there. So, like, how long has that been tipped over that it's this far underground? Sometimes there's like two of them side by side in there.
Oh, is this just a base?
It's something like this.
Oh. Oh.
So I try to leave dirt between the stone and the shovel so I don't like scuff it up. So how long has that been like tipped over, you think?
I don't know.
How does it get buried like that?
Knocks over and then somebody just leaves it there for years.
Can you see what it says?
No. Something on the bottom.
Watch that so I don't fall over. I'm gonna get a board to lay it on. So we got that up there. But I think I covered up what I was going to dig up next. So I can, oh yeah, I did. So there's something here. Now there's something here. Let's see what's this. Let's see. So I just barely saw this. Is there another?
Your board's laying on top of it.
Oh, is there two of them down there?
Is it a base?
It might be part of a base. There's two things under here.
Oh.
There's
Oh.
oh, you know what? Long time ago, my own fat camera, they put like borders around the lots. I wonder if they got sick of mowing around them and they just buried them.
Oh.
Because they're jerks like that. So it says W.
Or M.
Or an M. So I think there's a better solution to. They don't want to mow around stuff. I think there's a better solution than. There's inscriptions on this one.
Oh. Well, I don't think that was a border. I think that's a headstone. Age 17, 1850.
1851. Can you tell what that says? This ain't.
No, I can't read that. Oh, it's not 17, it's 47.
Oh.
It's a 4.
So this is where having a probe, like, find more stuff. Yeah. Kind of. So I'm not done here. I'm done tonight because Jody doesn't want to be here. But this is the fun I have. You see bare spots like this. When I see bare spots, I think there's something under there. I usually don't use the shovel to check. I use but like all along the line, you'll walk and you see little bare spots, and then, but I don't think there's. It's kind of weird how these are laid out. But show that bare spot between that one. So between like this one over here, way down here, I'm assuming there's graves in here, and there might be stones buried in there. So, alright, I think that's enough. People are probably bored. So this is my grave digging outfit. If you see somebody like me digging graves in the graveyard, don't bother me. So I didn't bring any water with me, so we gotta go.
Don't call the cops. There's bugs out here. I'm ready to leave.
Bugs and bees. Alright, that's all. Okay, I was here last night, digging around, and I brought a pallet, some boards to put things on so I can clean things off, so I can read the inscriptions to see where these belong. It belongs to the people that own this plot. I assume some or all of them do. Although there's some matching stones like this about 75 feet from here, leaning up another tombstone. So I took my probing rod and poked around where the shovel's at, and I found something else. So we're going to dig that up and see what's there. Gotta get my gloves. So what's funny, I was digging here. We were in a hurry yesterday. So it appears there's a stack of things here. I can see. So the funny thing is, I had half this sod already up yesterday. I don't want to put this where I'm going to have to... I'm going to poke around here where I'm putting the dirt, so... So I'm appear to be hitting something here too. So I'm hitting stuff here, So this ground's like sticky. So I'm gonna pile my dirt here. I usually have a tarp with me, but I don't have it today. So I had this sod up. I didn't think there was anything else in here. So when I ask if people want to help, it's not that I really need help. It's that some people have offered to help, and if people want to come over and help, they can. To me, this is not really like... It's work, but it's not like... To me, it is hard work, but it's not... It's not like going to a job hard work. So I have no idea why there's stuff buried here. So this looks like it could be a base. So it looks like it's a base for one of those square ones like this. So I'm going to get this up out of the ground. Because I was sitting there trying to think, how am I going to prop these back up? And I was saying yesterday that sometimes these plots had borders, like corner posts, that showed where the borders were. I said it looked like there was stones stacked on top of each other. So I don't know if you can see that or not. It's pretty good size. So this is a piece of stone that's kind of like chiseled out of sandstone. Looks like a base I'm sitting on. So I hit something else. So there's something else down here. going to put that loose dirt in this bucket. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to dig that up. I don't want to waste my battery filming me just digging, so we'll be back. Okay, people didn't want to watch me dig. Maybe they do. So I got quite a hole going there. That is about 4 inches deeper than I typically dig. So the one thing I found, I'm trying to pull this rod out right here. So hear that? It's my bed arm, not the thing. So I dug that up. There's a big chunk of limestone there that was probably a base for that thing there, and then this here sat on top of it, and then something like that might have sat on top of that, or one of these. So I've been digging, looking, and then right here, you hear that? I don't want to hit too hard because if it's something, it might chip it. But there's something right here. So I've been putting the loose dirt in these buckets. What I'm gonna do is continue digging stuff up, and then I'm gonna clean everything off, and then try to identify what all these are. See if it's one family or what it is. If it's one family, what I'll probably do is, it's going to be a tricky one. Not a tricky one, but a lot of thinking. Time consuming. I'll fill this back up with rock, and then I'll probably pour like a 18-inch by 6 foot or 8 foot, like a pad here, and then I'll display these on that pad, all facing out. That's the other thing, which way things supposed to be facing. The one stone that was kind of propped up there was facing this way. The roadway comes in. Most all the stones are facing, with the inscriptions, are facing west, unless it's in this first row here. These here are facing east, because I think the people are buried this side. So there's a stone way out there. I mean, somebody could be buried behind there. I need to It's almost like these are right on smack on top of the graves, almost. Very confusing. Alright, so I'm going to keep digging. I'm going to see what I'm hitting here. And so I got to think that that big block is a corner thing. And so there's this. But this might be the corner doohickey for this grave. And then there's one here. So, which makes me think there's probably one back here also. So there's something there. And then there's probably another one right here. Yeah. So there's another one here. So that says heart, H-A-R-T. I got to think that there were things on top of these maybe at some point that they took off and buried or threw off somewhere so they wouldn't have to mow around it. So, alright, I gotta keep on digging over here. So it looks like quite the mess, don't it? So I gotta think the lawn mowing people don't like me because it just makes more work for them. They gotta mow around more stuff. They probably wish somebody come in here and like remove all the headstones so they just mow without doing any trimming or anything. So that's not the way it's gonna work though. So Alright, I'll keep you updated. Another update. So it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. I was hoping that this tree here would cast some shade so I could do this. I'm actually getting some shade from this tree here as long as I'm on this side of that hole. So I continued digging and I found a limestone, like a footing for things to sit on. And yesterday I found a couple things. So I found this piece here, which is this is what we found yesterday. That piece fits on top of that, nice and neat. That was buried about 8 inches to a foot down. So what we found buried today was this thing, which is like a base to like one of those. Found the top of this, and then we found, I thought that was a complete stone here, and I thought that was just a straight cut, but apparently that must be the top of that. I didn't try to dry fit it, but looking at the angle, I'm certain that's where that goes. And this was sitting on top of, so that limestone thing down there that you kind of see it shiny, there's another one right here that I already buried. I'm not digging that up. So what I know I'm missing is the top of this piece, but it could be that it got broke off and then they just pitched it somewhere and that it's not buried. And I'm going to keep poking, not digging, but use my poking rod and go a little farther. The stones that I'm finding buried are only about 6 inches. The tops are about 6 inches down. So if I poke something that's that deep again, I'm not going to dig it up because I'm going to just assume that it's a limestone base. I don't think something like this could have got that deep. So, plus that's about as deep as I want to dig. It's about a foot to 14 inches, maybe 16 inches. I don't know how deep they buried people back in the day, but I do know that where there's graves, they're mounded up, because I think they just piled the dirt back up and mounded the dirt up. So if you look at all these mounds, these are where the graves are, the grave plots. If you look at, see that big stone there, you see to the right of that there's a veteran stone over there. That's where my great-great-grandfather is buried. That stone, there's a flat stone there, you can't see it. That stone belongs to a great uncle. He was in the Civil War. So, alright, I'll keep you updated. It's a tad bit later. So, I think I got the names off these. It's Everts. 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 And, well, I almost fell in that hole. You ever see the fistful of dollars or whatever in the cemetery scene where the guy falls and hits his head on a tombstone and dies? So Everts, these 4 are Everts. There's one whose name is Elon. So this one is Elon Everts. The rest of these I took pictures of, and Mariar something Everts. So I'll figure these out. So I think I'm going to pour like an 18-inch by 7-foot piece of concrete there. Somehow make little bases for these and line them up. There was another headstone over here, if you remember. The name was Stone on it. And I determined, right or wrong, this plot over here was bought by Stone. So I'm thinking that headstone was over here at one time, fell over, and somebody took it over there and just propped it up against some tombstones over there. So the one that was here was broke off and dug in there. This one, there was nothing there, so that's where the tombstone is going to go. So I got those ready. I got to make bases for these two. And I actually got them in my truck because the one has to be glued together. The other one, the bottom is broke off all jagged, so I got to cut it off flat. I'm getting behind. So I got some sitting over here. That one's got to be glued together. That one I can only find parts of it, and I need to look more. So these were buried, and I'm thinking this was supposed to be sitting up like this, and it tipped over, I think. And then I found this top thing buried in there with this one over here. And if you look at that one there, that's missing a top thing. But a lot of them are missing the top things. So I'm thinking it belongs to one of these other ones, and they threw it up here against one of these other ones, and it just became buried. And I'm thinking this one here is totally tipped over. It was, you can see where the dirt line is, the stain. This one here was, I'm going to move those off and brush those off for respect. Same thing with this one. So that's Wheeler. And I went to see who these people were. And this was totally buried. You couldn't see the name. Addison Wheelock. So if you go to find a grave, I don't think this is on find a grave. So like I said, I think this is supposed to be setting up this way by looking at the back of it, because there was a design all the way down there. But these are too heavy for me to mess around with myself, so I need to get helpers. So that is, I never left this little area. Well, yes, I did. I went over there and dug out for a base to put over there. But I need to get some more rock, and I don't feel like going to get more rock tonight. The bugs are out. If you're good eyesight, those 3 trees there, there's a big old beehive. You can see the swarming of bees over in there. And so the one tombstone I was working on was over there trying to clean it off to see what it said. And I was able to get enough of it clean to get a name off of it. Warfield. So, alright. So the bugs are coming out. I'm going to brush these off and move that off there, and then head home. Okay, I'm at the cemetery. Where else would I be? So here's what I got going on. So I started this project maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. There were 2 of these markers above the ground. And there was actually a 3rd marker propped up against them, which I determined belong over here to Willie Stone, because W.H. Stone owns that cemetery plot. So I think what happened years ago, that probably tipped over. The people that mow or somebody dragged it over and leaned it up against the markers over here. So I put that where I think it's supposed to go. And I'm doing my very, very best due diligence to try to make sure I'm doing things to the best of my ability and to the best of anybody's ability. So, anywho, these are kind of awkward how they're going to stand up. There are some footings way down, about 1.5 feet deep that I found. But I think the best thing to do is pour a concrete strip here. And then I made these here to put down the wet concrete to create a kind of a base for these to sit in. And they're like a 1/2 inch wider than the, I should double check all these before I get too wild. But then these will sit down about 1.5 inches. And then I'll put mortar around to kind of hold it in place. And then if they get banged into, hopefully the mortar joint will give. They'll tip over, but they won't break. Like this one here is the top piece of that one over there, I believe. And I looked and looked and looked for the other top piece of this one. I dug up as much as I felt confident digging up. I couldn't find it. What I'll do after I get these moved, I'll take my probing stick and probe all around in here, see if I can find it. But it could be anywhere. Somebody could have took it home with them. Who knows? So that's the update. Okay, my voice. I'm losing my voice. So got the concrete. That was a lot of work. That was 2 buckets of sand, 3 buckets of pea gravel, and almost a whole bucket of Portland cement. Not quite. So it's 16 by 6 foot 6 inches. That little pad there, and all 3.5 inches deep. So I actually brought a couple of bags of concrete in case I didn't have enough. So I did it old school. I mixed up the sand, gravel, and Portland cement in there. It's cheaper that way because I can get the sand and the pea gravel for free. Just got to pay for the Portland cement. So anywho, the hard part's mixing it up. So it's been perfect for a 2-person job because one person could continuously mix up some stuff while the other person works at this. So those blocks of wood are in there for, which I explained earlier. These will fit down in there, and then they're sticking up a little bit, but that doesn't matter. What does matter if they're level or not. So I should get my level out and make sure they're level because those are going to fit down in there. And then I hope it doesn't rain. It says it wasn't supposed to rain till 8 o'clock. I brought plastic to cover this so it doesn't get damaged. If all goes well, tomorrow, what's tomorrow? I don't know what day it is. But if all goes well, tomorrow or Saturday, I think tomorrow's Friday, I can get these set up in here, get them looking good. I would like to clean them one more time while they're on the ground like this. But I don't want to do it today because I'll get water in my concrete here. So I kind of wanted to do this today because it was overcast, but I didn't want to do it too late in the afternoon because I didn't want to run out of daylight. It's 85 degrees and humid. So everything was going good till my phone kept ringing. I'm like, darn it, who keeps calling me? So I checked the number. It was the county sheriff's department. And I called them back. And they said, you called 911, do you have an emergency? I'm like, what? So somehow, even though I had my phone locked, it somehow my phone dialed 911. They thought I was having an emergency. I guess I could be having an emergency if this concrete gets away from me, but anyhow, I better clean this mess up here before that hardens up. And then so that's all I had left over, just a little bit. And I wouldn't have had that much over. I forgot I had to dip a little bit out for my boards there. So all right, I got a mess to clean up. Okay, another update. So I've it's setting up. I got the whatever you want to call them, the little spacer thingies out so that these can fit in there, lined up all pretty. And as I was working on this, it started sprinkling. So I got these, so they're, I hope my math isn't wrong, they're 10 inches in between. And this one's a little smaller. It's for the smaller one, so that's 6 inches square. The rest of these are actually made them ½ inch bigger, so 6.5, 7.5 for the bigger ones. The one's kind of like not actually square. It's like 6.5 on one side and 7 on the other. But I'll fill the openings up with like a lime mortar, so they sit in there. I don't think I needed like glue them in there anyhow. maybe I'll dab a little mortar on the bottom for it to set in. And I don't know, haven't decided yet. Could put a dab of glue adhesive in the center of each one. Set them in there to hold them. I don't know. Maybe I'll set one in there to dry fit and see how it goes. So anyhow, I'm gonna hang out here for a little bit and go. So the fronts are lined up. That's why the back one's kind of like, looks like it's way too far, but I want them to be kind of like lined up in the front. So a little extra space on the back there. So it was weird. I came and I plopped that. I built that form like at home. I came and plopped it down. And I threw some gravel in there and I eyeballed it, got it level. And then I went and got my level and I got the string. And I lined it up to the front of the foundation of that one over there. And it was absolutely level and absolutely straight. I didn't have to like do anything to it. So I got a good eye. Alright, so that might be the last update for today. If I stay here long enough, I'll go ahead and take the forms off. But I'll keep an eye on the weather. If it's supposed to rain, I brought plastic. If it's supposed to rain, I'll keep the form on, put plastic over, and then put some boards on top so it runs off. We'll wait and see here what the weather's supposed to be. Here I am again at Round Grove Cemetery. So today was supposed to be a rest day because I overdid it yesterday pouring that concrete strip there. But I was going to Morrison today, so this is on the way, and I stopped to see if the weather, I had it covered with plastic. Wanted to see if the weather did anything to it, and it did not. In fact, it might have helped it because I covered it with plastic and gave it an extra time to cure. Kept the sun from drying out too fast. But anyhow, so I'm dressed nice. Let me see, I got like a clean shirt on today and everything. So I wasn't planning on working on the cemetery, but so I was going to the library in Morrison. I got there at 1 o'clock. It doesn't open till 2. So I have an hour to kill. And Round Grove's 1 mile from Morrison, so I drove over here to check on this. And this is what you see. Switch it back to the view here. So this is what I came up with. So I put little I gotta like secure these in. I'm gonna put mortar around there, secure these in, but they're heavy enough they can just sit there for now. I think it's okay. I don't think anybody's gonna tip them over. In fact, they're just as secure as some of these other ones that are about ready to tip over. So hopefully nobody comes in here. They shouldn't be touching stuff anyhow, especially when I got my construction stuff sitting here. So I think it turned out pretty good. When it dries up, I'll come back and I got some sod over there against that tree, and there's some back here too. I'll come back and clean that up, put sod around there and build up a little bit. Hopefully lawnmower people won't smash into it and kill it. So of all the things I've done, this was the most exhausting, probably because I was trying to mix up all that concrete by hand. Not only did I mix the concrete by hand, I didn't buy bags of concrete. I bought a bag of Portland cement. Then I had buckets of sand, buckets of pea gravel. So I mixed it all as I was going. That way I get the sand and gravel for free, and I just have to pay for the Portland cement. So it cost like a quarter of the price of buying bags of cement. Yeah, a bag of cement's only about $3 or $4. It probably would have took me about 9 bags for this, so probably would have been 9 times 4. Let's just call it like $40, maybe $35 to $40. Doing it my way probably cost about $8 for the Portland cement. So, and it's not that much more work. You just got to measure stuff out. If you have 2 people, it'd go really good. One person can be like mixing up the concrete, the other person can be like putting it in there and kind of just working along. Would have been twice as fast. So that wraps up, I think, the Everts family. So we have Evert. We have Nathaniel. I think the last name was Ryder. I got sunglasses on and it's super bright, so I can't see this very well. But my research showed that all these people were related. There was a fifth headstone leaning up against, so 2 of these were completely buried and 2 were propped up. You can tell that one was buried and this one over there was buried. You can tell by the way they're staying. The other 2 was propped up. The top part was completely buried. That was completely buried. That was completely buried. This thing here was completely buried, but it's either a W or an M. And there's the W down there. I don't think it really goes with this. I think that might go with, there's Matthews, and all kinds of Matthews buried over here. I'm kind of thinking that might have belonged over there at some point. So, on the flip side, look how nice these are looking, because I've been cleaning these as I've been setting them up. So I've been working on this row here, not because it's just the first row, it's just because they need some attention. So I got one laying over there, which I don't know what I'm going to do because it's not going to be able to really be glued together. And there's another one over there that's not going to be able to be glued together probably. So I have to wait and see. That one there I glued together and that should be fine. I just got to remove my clamps, but I'm not going to do that today. So anyhow, I've been trying to wrap this up for like 2 minutes now, but so that'll wrap up the Everts family. I will, in this video somewhere, I will list all the names and what I know about each of the people. So if you watched this far, this video, you probably maybe have already seen that. So, alright, that wraps it up.